Hello, my name is Am, and welcome back to my channel. Alright, man, Shingeki Day. I'm actually, well, I mean, you guys aren't going to see this for a few months, but, I've got a really good flow going at the moment. For all the stuff I'm doing on my channel. After this, I'm 5 episodes in, so 5 more to go after this episode. So I'm excited to share all of this once it's time to relaunch the channel. Last episode, of course, absolutely incredible. Just destroyed me, decimated me. One of the most incredible episodes of anything. Only a handful of things have affected me like that episode affected me. So, yeah, the ending to that episode was the incredible Commander Smith on his death charge, right? His final charge alongside these new recruits. And then it kind of ends off on a cliffhanger, right? He took substantial damage, though, from the looks of it. And yeah, let's see how it all plays out. But before I go into the episode, if you're interested in full length for this episode or even early access to the next episode, consider checking out the Patreon page. There's also other stuff there. Again, there's other content that's going to be on the channel. And if you're only into anime content, I'm also doing Death Note. So check that out if you're interested. But yeah, in doing so, you'll be supporting the channel and you'll get early access and full length. Consider checking out the pinned comment. It has links to my social media. It has links to my Patreon page. And it always has any updates, if there are any updates. And it's always at the top of the comment section. All right, man. So that's about it. Let's get right into the episode. Rage. The eternal Commander Smith. Oh man, that messed me up again. Marlowe though, look at him, man. Whoa. 哀れだ。歴史の過ちを学んでいないとは。レイス王によって世界の記憶を奪われたのは悲劇だ。だから何度も過ちを繰り返す。The accursed history, remember? 何マジになってんだよ。お前は父親とは違うだろ。何事も楽しまなくちゃ。So who's his father, man? これがシカ。ヒッチは今頃何を？いや、あいつはまだ寝てるか。あ、いいな。Rest easy, Marlo. Rest easy. Rage. Nanda? 俺の巨人が倒れて。The God of Death. 一人の兵士に気をつけろって？はい、リヴァイ兵長は危険です。ほう。こいつがリヴァイか。Holy shit。なんだ、もうやられたのか。Holy shit。さっきは随分と楽しそうだったな。ダメだ、胸あら。もっと楽しんでくれよ。おお。Holy shit! Oh, he got him! Whoa! 巨人化直後、体を激しく損傷し、回復に手一杯のうちは巨人化できない。そうだったよな。おい、返事しろよ。失礼なやつだな。
瀕死でもいい。
Oh god.
まだ息さえあればこの注射を使って巨人にする。そいつにこいつを食わせて獣の巨人の
Holy
力を
shit, imagine.
誰か一人だけ生き返らせることが。
Oh shit, I knew this thing's gonna jump him. Fucked him up.
待てよ、俺はあいつに誓ったんだ。必ずお前を殺すと。
He'll never stop.
本当に生き返りやがった。あいつどうやったら死ぬんだよ。
I'm sure a lot of people who don't like Reiner are asking the same thing.
どうしろってんだよ。
Yeah.
超大型巨人が
Ah, the muscle's being used up. Muscle tissue.
ハンジさんの言った通りだ。やっぱり超大型巨人は消耗戦に弱い。エレンの実験を思い出して。続けて巨人化できるのは3回まで。作戦がある。みんなでライナーを引きつけてくれ。ベルトルトは僕とエレンで倒す。僕たち2人で勝ってみせる。
Careful, please, careful.
せよバカ。本当にもうダメかと思ったぞ。
Stab him again.
この作戦がうまくいけば僕はもう海を見には行けないな。僕はなぜか外の世界のことを考えると勇気が湧いてくるんだ。エレン起きろ。海を見に行くよ。
It's just like that episode in season 1. Episode 12, was it? Or 11? Rico!
エレン、作戦は以上だ。あとは全てを実行に移し、ベルトルトを騙すことさえできれば、この勝負、僕たちの勝ちだ。
Good aim. She slashed him back there as well. In episode 7, close combat.
一緒に海に行くって約束しただろ。僕がエレンに嘘ついたことあった？だから何があっても僕の作戦守ってくれよ。
Is that part of the plan, or is that actually a slip?
おそらくは重度の脳震盪。まだまともに立ち上がることもできないようだね。
Unless it's part of the plan. Come on, Bertold.
十分だ。よく戦ったよ。
エレン、アルミ。
Shit, I think I know.
二人に任せた。
なぜだ。アルミンを吹き飛ばせない。
やっぱり骨は消費しないんだ。肉に刺さなければアンカーは抜けない。そして何より熱風を放っている間は筋肉を動かせ
It's
ない。
Armin on the roof.
けどアルミン、それが君の最後か。
息がこれ以上はもう。いや、まだだ。この程度じゃ足りない。耐えろ。まだ離すな。エレンに託すんだ。僕の夢、命、すべて。僕が捨てられるものなんてこれしかないんだ。きっとエレンなら海にたどり着く。海を見てくれる。
Both of them, man.
いやよくやった
Hundreds.
今だ生かした
まさか
出て
Oh. Oh.
これは
He's not there anymore, is he?
物質か
取った
Wow. Limbs chopped off. It was Armin and Bertolt on the roof.
僕がエレンに嘘ついたことあった
くそ
He didn't want to tell him the other part.
お前なんでやり返さないんだよ
僕は負けてないよ
は
僕は逃げてない
お前名前は分かってたお前が誰よりも勇敢なことぐらい
Both of them. Commander Smith and Armin. Gonna need a moment. All right, man. So let's try to do this. That was insane. 2 episodes now, just incredible episodes. Let's start there. This one perhaps even better than the last episode. And difficult episodes to get through. Really difficult episodes to get through because, a couple of my, favorite characters of the series have now died. Over the span of 2 incredible episodes, 2 dreams have ended, right? The dreams of 2 incredible characters have ended. The world is just that cruel, right? They had to make these life-ending choices just to have a chance, just to retaliate against the enemy, and give their friends a chance, their remaining comrades a chance. In that sense, it is, it really does ground it in reality, right? That in order to defeat them, right, in order to turn the tables or turn the tide, two major characters had to die, and after that, they finally had the chance to actually defeat the warrior crew, right? But it took some significant sacrifices to even get to that point. Just insane, man. It was difficult, especially that ending. Oh, to see Armin's body like that on the roof. It's a haunting image, and it's unfortunate that that's gonna be the final image of Armin on the show. Our final image of Armin in this story. It was difficult to even look at, man. It was just. And it makes the choice even more incredible that that was like, he's smart enough to know that might be how he dies, right? That's gonna be this incredibly painful death, and that was a result of it, of his resilience, of his courage, right? He held on. He didn't run, right? He didn't run. He doesn't lose because he didn't run. Wow. Man, Armin, incredible. Just incredible. You know, this takes me back to that thing I mentioned a few episodes ago about true character and how true character can be expressed through a choice and dilemma. You know, how a person chooses to act under pressure is who he or she is, right? The greater the pressure, the truer and deeper the thought or choice to that character. And, you know, the choice Armin just made there, you know, really signifies how much, just really signifies him as a character, man. Just really, man, I can't get over it, man. You know, I can't believe that both major death flags have not played out from episode 12, right? Commander Smith and Armin. And, you know, during the reaction, you saw my surprise to that. You know, I never thought that both of them could die, right? Especially back to back in 2 back-to-back episodes. Madness. But yeah, you know, both, again, go back to episode 12, death flags, right? For Commander Smith, for Armin. I knew there was cause for concern, you know, the moment Armin starts bringing up the outside world and, like, you know, the sea and their dream together. And then, of course, the commander brings up the fact that he simply has to be there to see the truth of it all, right? He admits this to Levi in that office. And, you know, in the last episode, I even forgot to mention that in episode 12, the commander even said, "You used me as bait," right? So it's kind of insane that both of these death flags have now played out. That being said, they did bring up the possibility of the commander not being dead. Actually, there's probably a good chance that maybe he's not dead just yet. I'll get into that in a bit. Wow. And, you know, in this episode, it became clear quite early on that Armin is probably going to end up dying in this episode, right? Or he's on the road to death at this point. And that's why I got so emotional so early on in the episode. You know, just because I kind of clocked it, right? And put some of the other pieces together. And, you know, that now he has a plan in his mind that, you know, potentially requires him to die or give up his life in the process. Mixed in with just, you know, the signs from episode 12 and, you know, the post-credit scene, the rooftop, all that combined. I just, at that moment in time, it really, you know, start to set in. It's like, oh shit, Armin is probably about to die. And, you know, the tears start flowing at that moment. The moment I, you know, clock that this is happening, this is going down, man. And it hurt even more after, you know, seeing the commander go down in the last episode. You know, that's two masterminds of this group and the show that have now gone down. Now, again, it appears that Commander Smith isn't out. Like, he isn't, like, dead, because it wasn't a definitive death. And even in the beginning of this episode, this showed his charge again, right? And this showed that he didn't definitively die, you know? If you compare that to Marlowe's death, right? Definitive death. He took like a projectile straight to the face and got smashed. And then Armin's death, a definitive death. He got just absolutely burned alive, right? And you see his dead body on the roof. Those are definitive deaths. Like, they've shown us those two guys, you know, those two characters are dead. But the commander, they didn't show a gruesome death. I mean, he took substantial damage to his abdomen, right? They showed that in the conclusion to the last episode. But in this episode, they show him kind of, you know, drop off his horse, and then that's about it. So, you know, they didn't confirm it on screen that he's dead. And then, of course, there are signs in this episode that are hinting towards a potential revival for the commander, right? Let's just get into it. I'll circle back to Armin. They've established that Levi they want to kill the Beast Titan because he's hoping someone is still alive, you know, to inject and bring back from the brink of death, right? They made a point of showing us that information again, right? And putting that information in our headspace again. And then at that point in time, he's thinking of Commander Smith specifically, right? They put that up on screen as what he's thinking about. So they're planting the idea of potentially turning the commander into a Titan and then having him eat a Titan shifter. Now, it's not going to be the Beast Titan because Levi's hesitation allowed this Scout Titan to, get the jump on him, to blindside him. I was so afraid of something like this happening, and I'm so happy, he didn't badly injure Levi. But he did, catch him by surprise, and he did effectively rescue the Beast Titan, or Zeke, the War Chief. But, the hesitation was deliberate. I don't think it was a lapse in concentration or anything. He could have killed him. He had him right there, Just push that blade a bit further and, he's finished. But, it was a choice. It was by design that he didn't kill him. Because, again, he has his responsibility from episode 12, right? A lot of things go back to episode 12. The commander himself gave him that responsibility, right? That it's going to be up to you to decide at a moment's notice who to inject or at what point to use this Titan serum, right? In the field under unpredictable conditions, right? And another almost haunting and heartbreaking image is that of Levi looking at the Scout Titan escaping, right? There's this, moment of him he's almost shell-shocked at that moment. It happened so quick. But, the heartbreaking part of that is that, he promised the commander. And, now he's seeing that promise linger, right? Just escape. But, he snaps out of it quick and he's like, I promised. And again, like I said, during the episode, I don't think he's ever going to stop. Right till the conclusion of the series, I don't think he's ever going to stop until he hunts down the Beast Titan or the War Chief, Zeke. He's got a god of death attached to him now, right? And yeah, I just feel like he'll go to the ends of the earth, right? To make sure he fulfills that promise he made to the commander. And another thing I feel like he's going to take quite seriously is that serum, right? The commander put him in charge, and the commander made it his responsibility. And again, I don't want to go too far from Armin just yet, but let me jump back to the rooftop for a bit. At this point in time, I am now at that point from the post-credit scene, right? Almost, because Levi still has to show up at that rooftop, and Mikasa has to get to the rooftop. It all makes sense now, right? This was one of the possibilities I brought up later in my discussion in episode 12. Like, it was one of the last things that kind of just crept in my mind as I was going through, the potential death flag for Armin. Mikasa's reaction makes so much sense now in that post-credit scene. Just imagine, right? Imagine her coming up to the rooftop. It makes so much sense now. To that sight of Armin in that state. But see, the one thing I'm still a bit confused about here is that in that post-credit scene, it's clear that Eren and Levi are at odds about something here, right? Or it appears that Levi is upset with Eren at that point in time. Is it potentially because Levi gets there and he sees that Armin has also died now, right? And he knows that Armin, is another asset to their cause or to their side. And, I'm sure, the commander speaks of Armin, and actually, regardless of that, even Levi himself has probably noticed how crucial Armin is to their cause. So, maybe he gets to the rooftop and he sees that Armin is charred and dead. Maybe he's upset with Eren for allowing Armin to go through with this plan, right? Levi's already kind of just really on edge, right? Really upset about the commander having to die. And now he sees that Armin, who is perhaps the closest replacement for the commander, is now also dead. Maybe for that reason he might be a bit upset with Eren. But again, Eren believed everything Armin told him, right? Armin, that was a crucial point, right? Now, Armin couldn't straight out tell him that, oh, I'm not going to let go, right? He had to hide parts of the plan from Eren because Eren was not going to agree to it, right? But, is that a big enough reason for them to be so angry? Or is that a big enough reason for Levi to be so angry with Eren, right? Is that enough of a reason for them to be at odds at a moment like this? I feel like something's missing here. I can't quite make that connection to that moment. And again, the thing to note here is that the serum case is in Levi's hand at this point, as he backhands Eren. Are they potentially arguing over Bertolt's situation and how to move forward on that? How to handle that situation of Bertolt being a Titan shifter and being right there on the rooftop? Is that potentially a cause for them being at odds at that moment in time? So much so that Levi has to crack Eren, backhand him, and then Mikasa jumps in and all that, right? So I feel like there's something interesting missing here, so I'm glad that I'm finally at the rooftop, and it's 5 episodes in, so halfway through the season, and the big spoilery thing from the post-credit scene seems to be now out there, right? Unfortunately, I've seen Armin's death, and now I've seen Bertolt, right? Limbs chopped off on the rooftop. I've seen it all play out at this point, so yeah, I still feel like there's something interesting that might happen that leads them to that moment. I feel like there's still something missing. And, going back to my point of them losing 2 masterminds, in quick succession like that, Armin and the commander are actually quite similar, they really are. Armin kind of learned from the commander by observing the commander and other figures of authority since joining the scouts, people like Pixis as well. He grew as a character by learning from these kind of people, right? By picking up specific attributes that are unique to these characters or these people, right? This takes me back to season 1, right? Season 1, Forest of the Giant Trees. Around this time, they're at the outskirts of the forest, right? It's like Armin and Jean and some of the other 104th members. He starts talking to Jean and I think some of the other 104th members as well about how people who can't abandon anything cannot change anything, right? And at this point in time, they're showing people like the commander, Pixis. I believe even Ian is, shown for a moment, as examples of people who are able to change things, right? But even early on as a scout, right, as a recruit, as a rookie, he was able to extract so much knowledge, right? So much guidance out of just observing people. And, he's a great... That's one of the qualities of Armin, right? He's a great judge of character, right? He's great at just reading people. And I feel like that was so crucial in his growth, right? Because I believe he said people who are not able to, people who are able to change things are the ones that are able to give up on things that matter most, or give up on things that matter to them the most, right? In order to make changes, you have to make sacrifices, right? Substantial sacrifices, life-ending sacrifices in this case, over these 2 incredible episodes, right? And he was able to clock that so early on, right? And learn from that, and all this time later, at a crucial moment, at a critical moment, he implements that. on one end, he's always been this shy and timid and soft-spoken individual, right? Yet he's the one who was kind of the first to, realize how things really are, right? He was the least shocked about the behavior of some of these higher-ranking officials because he understood. He understood it had to be done. These kind of things had to be done in order to rise above these monsters, right? These kind of steps had to be taken, right? People who can't abandon anything cannot change anything, right? That's what he said. He understood that back then, right? And he didn't just, understand it and just voice it to his fellow 104th members. He implemented it, right? And that became part of his character arc and development over the series since then. There's examples of him going down that route or going down that path because he knows sometimes it has to be done. Going back to the earlier episodes of season 1, sorry, not season 1, season 2, not season 2, season 3, the chase, as Jean kind of starts to hesitate, or he does hesitate, to shoot that Kenny squad member. He had to jump in and shoot that lady, right? Because if he doesn't shoot her, Jean dies, right? So he was able to make that choice at a moment's notice, right? He was able to abandon his humanity at that moment. And then, later, if you go back a bit further, you go back to season 2, he pulls out that tactic, he pulls out that Annie is being tortured tactic against Bertolt the first time. It was effective the first time, of course, right? And at that point in time, he does have to abandon his humanity again. And, his demeanor almost changes at that moment in time, right? Almost becomes a different person in that time. So he learned from these things, right? But yeah, unfortunately, it's a goodbye to an incredible character. One of my favorites since early season 1. It's been an incredible character arc. Isayama's constructed such an empathetic character, man. He's actually so relatable. I know there's aspects to him that are, perhaps not as relatable to everyone, his intelligence factor, but there's other aspects of him that are so relatable, right? That's why, I do feel like he's such an empathetic character. Self-doubt, and, causes for hesitation. It's realistic, man. You see people go through that. I've gone through that. A lot of people go through these kind of phases, right? In life at some point. And it was incredible to see him grow into the person he became by the end of his arc. And, right now I'm just thinking of all the amazing moments he's had, all the moments of breaking out of his shell, going back to that cannonball incident. Eren and Mikasa convince him and tell him that, he can do this. He can go out there and convince them. That was the first true big moment for Armin, right? Actually, maybe even before that, that was the first big moment against higher ranking officials and, the world at large, their world at that point in time. But he even had that plan inside, remember? It was that really cool moment of the spinning basket, and they're all shooting at the Titans, the small ones inside. I believe that was his first major plan that he put together, right? But yeah, I'm just thinking of all the great moments, all the breakout moments for Armin. Again, man, it's really going to leave such a massive hole for the rest of the series now, for me and for the characters of the show as well. Eren, I get the feeling, and you could see it even there in the final shot as he's just dragging Bertolt, limbs chopped off as he's dragging him. You can see the way they drew him, or I just felt that already he feels different. Eren, that is. You can feel the effects of Armin's death already, and I feel like it is going to affect him. I feel like this is going to be another crucial point for his character arc. I feel like he might change all over again, right? The first half of season 3, there's a lot of character change and development for Eren, right? Now it could go in a totally different direction, right? I feel like he might be so detached from others at this point. I feel like he might feel a bit dead inside, that a part of him is dead forever, that Armin is not here anymore. And, that cold open kind of almost, plays into my point about this. It almost felt like a moment of reflection, but a somber tone to it all. The cold open from episode 1, that is, season 3, episode 1, of him at the sea. That stings, man. That really stings. It's just not going to be the same, right? It's just not going to have the same meaning anymore. For me, and again for Eren, as a person, he's going to get there, but it's just not going to mean the same anymore. Armin's not here anymore. That is a part of him. A part of him has just died. And I feel like he might, change because of that quite a bit. So much like the commander in the last episode, Armin made the choice to give up everything, give up his life, give up his dreams. And, the situation was so hopeless that it had to be things like this. It had to be desperate measures like the ones the commander and Armin had to take to turn the tables, right? To turn the tide. And, in that sense, Armin's sacrifice was immediately effective, right? It immediately turned those tables, and they were able to finally beat the Colossal Titan. Yeah, man. So he sacrificed it all, right? And he said, oh man, the part that hurt so much is that, he's like, oh, Eren's gonna be there. He's gonna live my dreams out for me. Man, and it's so sad, his parents had the same dream and they died a terrible death, and now Armin couldn't fulfill that dream and he died a terrible death. Yeah, again, I feel like this is gonna change Eren. This kind of thing has to change you, man. But it is up to Eren and the rest of the scouts, the 104th, the Levi squad, to give meaning to the sacrifice, to give meaning to Armin's incredible life. And it was incredible. It is, it's up to them to continue on this crusade in his memory, to discover new places in his memory. And how about that shot of Eren launching in the air and landing the finishing blow on the Colossal Titan? That was one of the most iconic and crucial and important moments of the series. It really was, because the Colossal Titan started it all, right? The Colossal Titan was kind of like the symbol of all of this, the beginning of all of this, the nightmarish hell they've been living through these past few years. The Colossal Titan, again, you have to look at it from different sides. Again, I am sympathetic towards Reiner and Bertolt as well, but then you have to look at it from the other side. I am sympathetic towards Eren, Armin, Mikasa, and everyone else, right? You have to look at it from that side as well. To Eren, the Colossal Titan has been the symbol of destruction, the symbol of all of this chaos that's been introduced into their lives. He's the reason his mother died, right? Him kicking that hole into the wall started all of it here in Shiganshina. So how fitting that Eren finally, after all this time, after everything he's learned and the ups and downs, he finally lands the finishing blow on the Colossal Titan, not Bertolt, on the Colossal Titan, as Eren in the human form. Not Eren Titan, but Eren in the human form. I thought that is... I thought that was so important, that it was Eren in his human form landing the finishing blow here in Shiganshina on the Colossal Titan. Full circle, right? It's come full circle. Wow. And the absence of music in that moment, of him slashing the nape and pulling Bertolt out, I thought that was so effective and made the scene even more memorable, right? It just had that feeling of a substantial moment in the timeline of the series to finally get that blow on the Colossal Titan. Again, beyond Bertolt being the Colossal Titan, the Colossal Titan is just a symbol of oppression to them, right? It has been since episode 1, as it peeks over the wall for the first time on that day. So yeah, poignant stuff to have Eren kill him in his human form, and land the finishing blow here in Shiganshina. One thing did momentarily take me out of that moment though, and I wish it wasn't there, was the play-by-play by Bertolt as Eren pulled him out, and he's going through every step, all the moves step by step, how it all happened, how he got blindsided, how Armin did this. I don't know. Again, like I said, those kind of things, as dialogue, it kind of takes you out of it sometimes. It certainly took me out of it momentarily. I'm actually right now I'm in the process of recording a lot of stuff for my return to YouTube, and Death Note is another anime I'm doing. That's one of the criticisms I have about Death Note. They seem to do that a lot in Death Note. The step-by-step explanations, explaining, really like hand-holding and explaining things to the audience. That's happened a few times in the episodes I've seen of Death Note so far. But yeah, a bit of a nitpick. I could have done without the play-by-play in that moment by Bertolt. So now I'm at the point, right, at the rooftop point, going back to that infamous post-credit scene, limbs chopped off, Bertolt on the rooftop. Again, it became quite clear early on in this episode how it's all going to play out. That Armin's move is his big plan, his amazing plan, is going to get him killed in this manner, most likely. The steam of the Colossal Titan. But then, of course, that also that the post-credit scene also kind of spoiled the ending to that, Colossal Titan versus Eren and Armin fight at the end there, right? But there is something to be said about that, because even though that was quite a spoiler, or again, yeah, I guess it's relative, right? Some people didn't consider that a spoiler because they just didn't clock it, or they just saw it once and they didn't feel the need to look into it any further. But even though it was, I was able to figure out that is Bertolt on the rooftop, it didn't diminish the impact of any of this. You saw me. I'm kind of shocked at how emotional I was getting, or I was, during all of that, given the fact that I had a really good idea of how it all plays out. That has, that's a credit to Isayama. That's completely a credit to Isayama, his writing, these characters he's constructed, and Armin is a character I care for so much. And if you had any doubts about that, I suggest you go watch my reaction to that again. Just like you guys, I'm a big fan of the show, the anime, and a big fan of these characters, man. I'm attached to them. They mean quite a bit to me at this point. So, yeah, all of this credit goes to Isayama for creating this kind of empathy and creating these kind of characters, Again, like I said, there's only a handful of characters and moments that have made me feel like this in my lifetime. As an adult, watching and taking in storytelling over the years, the decades. I think in terms of YouTube, that was probably the most emotional I've been for anything, even more so than some of the Game of Thrones moments. There are a few moments in Game of Thrones that really just absolutely destroyed me. This is right up there, maybe even more so, in terms of how deeply affecting it was. Just, well, it messed me up, man. Also, before I move on, it'll be interesting to see how Bertolt reacts to this, right? At this point in time, he's just defeated, absolutely defeated. Limbs are chopped off. He can't do anything but talk. But it'll be interesting to see after a couple episodes ago, Descent. It was clear that he has a clear mind, a moment of clarity. He was ready to accept anything that comes at him, right? So let's see if he just straight up accepts this and straight up just, I fought and I lost. Now I rest. That kind of moment. Or if he tries to bargain or talk or say something crucial. Let's see. That's one of the other possibilities here, right? Getting information out of Bertolt or Reiner. They have both of them, right? again, I say that, but there's still one unpredictable thing that is still out there. This Scout Titan. The Scout Titan. And, he has Zeke at the moment, who is also out of commission. He's not going to recover anytime soon to be able to turn into the Beast Titan again. So now the onus is on the Scout Titan as the sole representative of the warrior crew. Is it possible I might get to see the tables turn again as I see the might of this strange Scout Titan in the next episode? They have to be careful. It blindsided Levi, so it could blindside them as well. They have to be careful. So until I know if the Beast Titan or Zeke is going to escape altogether and, live to fight another day, or is he going to order the Scout Titan to go in and potentially rescue Bertolt and Reiner? Two possibilities, right? Let's see how it plays out. They're not... It was certainly, they defeated them in this episode, but again, given the insane nature of these past few episodes, you never know. The tides could turn again. So the one to watch now is the Scout Titan. And again, the war chief, Zeke, depends on his orders, right? His plan of action. Now, staying on Zeke, he's becoming really interesting by the episode at this point. There's a really interesting moment in the beginning of the episode as he's having a moment of reflection to himself, right? He's thinking about these humans or these scouts that are still, coming in on this suicide charge. And it kind of felt like he has pity, right? He has sympathy for them almost. That's the feeling I was getting here. And he said making the same mistakes from history or not learning from the mistakes of history, right? And he puts the blame on the Rice King, for taking their memories from them, right? That's the point he made. So in that sense, he does have some pity for them for, not even knowing the truth or not having access to that history, right? And again, he's putting the blame on the Rice King. So, the concept of people who don't learn from history are doomed to repeat it, or history repeating itself is being brought in here, right? But, the unfortunate part and the unfair part of all of this is that the humanity within the walls doesn't even know anything about this history, a cursed history, he called it, right? In Descent a few episodes ago. So it's just so unfair. I said this before as well, and now they're making it even more clear that there is some sort of long-standing conflict between the people from outside the walls and the people inside the walls, right? Again, it goes back to the point of Reiner distinguishing them as an evil race, a filthy race, all of that, right? So the show is adequately establishing at this point, yes, there is a history to all of this, but the people inside the walls don't know. And then the extension to the people inside the walls, the characters, us, the audience, right? So you could feel that he does have some pity for them. But again, but the crazy thing here is that he knows even of the Rice King. He knows that the Rice King did this and he erased their memories. It feels like they know everything there is to know. Their side, that is, the people from outside the walls. But, then the question becomes, how do they know all of this, right? And then that starts opening the doors to all kinds of possibilities. It has a distinct feeling of forgetting the past and, starting something from the ground up. The Rice King, sorry. I keep mixing that up again. So... See, it feels like he just wanted to forget everything about this potential conflict, this cursed history, and start something new, right? And he's certainly, successful in that, right? For a long time. And then that takes you back to Yuri. Remember, Yuri said something about not being able to build paradise within such tiny walls, right? That was one of his regrets, apparently. He was saying this to Kenny. This was in episode 10, Friends. So yeah, maybe there's a connection here, right? starting something new, forgetting the past, building a paradise of sorts. But then again, he said he regrets not being able to do it, right? Then again, the whole thing about him speaking as if he's going to be around for the next phase of this, right? Remember the whole concept of living on through the holders of the founding Titan and moving on to some kind of ancestral plane, much like the Black Panther. So yeah, maybe there's a connection there. And in that moment, I got to see the Beast Titan, or Zeke, lose his temper, lose his cool. That's how angry he got, with the situation at hand. Now, it feels like he was angry at this first Rice King for, putting these people in this position. And then he's also angry at the, concept of these people, giving up their lives for something they might not even understand in the grand scheme of things, right? But he had to catch himself. He did catch himself, and he brings it back in and he calms down. But the thing to note here is that he brings up his father, right? He said something like, "Oh, you're not like your father," right? So interesting new figure, perhaps being established, or in the early stages of being established. This father, and if the Beast Titan or Zeke ends up being Grisha's brother, like I think he might be, then that makes him Grisha's father as well, right? But the interesting thing here is that you could see that he's trying to, from his reaction and saying and think, "Oh, you're not like your father," right? It appears that he's trying to be different than this father, or not trying to behave like this father that he mentioned. And again, the show does deal with themes like sins of the father. So, yet another father figure is being brought up here, and it appears that Zeke himself has his own struggles. So again, he's starting to become really interesting. And I'm certainly, I guess I could say, I am happy that he escaped, right? But I'm also happy that he caught a beatdown. He needed that beatdown. He needed to be tuned up, right? He needed to taste some of that, right? And Levi Heicho certainly gave it to him. How about that insane scene of him just ripping him up, ripping him to shreds in such a short span of time. Again, like I said earlier on in season 3, it is an absolute treat to see Levi do his thing out there, right? It's a rare moment, and every time he does it, the animation is just spectacular. Once again, it was amazing in this attack as well. So yeah, amazing scene, that's for sure. And I'm actually quite surprised how easily he dismantled the Beast Titan. I thought it would be more of a back and forth, but again, he did have the element of surprise on his side, and he just took him out. And once Levi's in the zone, he's not gonna stop. He just ripped him to shreds. Again, Levi is perhaps the only human that is able to go toe-to-toe with a Titan, right? Only human. Maybe Mikasa at some point as well, but at this point in time, you couldn't see Mikasa going up against a Beast Titan, right? Maybe at some point, maybe Mikasa could grow into that, because again, there is something special about the Ackerman clan, right? They have this, again, something that almost feels like it's part of their DNA, right? They excel so much more than anyone else. The inner strength, right? That was another talking point from earlier on in season 3. Ripped him to shreds, and I loved his one-liners. Oh my god, this guy and his one-liners, just love him, man. The animation again, most impressive. Ripped him a new one essentially, and he had that coming. He needed that beatdown. I'm happy about that, but I'm also happy that he escaped, because there's so much to learn from him, about him. And again, like I said in the last episode, it was just too early to kill him off. He's just now being established, or starting to be established as a character, and I'm starting to learn things about him, right? But that being said, I guess I could see how people could see things like this as plot armor, because the warrior crew has escaped near-death situations so many times now. Reiner in particular has escaped so many near-death experiences. So in that sense, bit of plot armor creeping in for some of these Titan shifters or the warrior crew. Again, this is the first time I saw Zeke escape, right? Or make an escape or get out of a near-death situation. But, Reiner has been in a lot of those situations, and he seems to always make it out of it somehow, right? Now, again, I'm a big Reiner fan. I definitely don't want him to die. I want to learn more about him from him. But I've seen situations, he's being put in situations that do kind of require plot armor to creep in for him to be able to escape or survive those situations. So I could see how people, that are not fans of these characters could get frustrated by something like that. Even Jean himself, mentions it in this episode. Like, how do we defeat this guy? Like, he just comes back from anything. So I could see how people could see it like that. I mean, I'm seeing it like that as well. I am seeing a bit of plot armor creeping in. It just happens that I don't want that character to die, Reiner, that is. That all being said, do they finally have him? Did they finally defeat the Armored Titan, right? Let's see how it all plays out. And staying on the Armored Titan and, defeating the Armored Titan, Hanji made a timely return, the most perfectly timed return at a critical moment, a crucial moment. In that sense, bit of a nitpick. Did feel a bit like, Deus Ex Machina at that moment. Hanji coming in at that moment, at that time, just as they needed this. And again, it appears that she wasn't substantially hurt or, took any substantial damage from this nuke type bomb that goes off a few episodes ago, the Colossal Titan transforming. So I'm sure I'll get an explanation for that, because she seems to be fine, right? Again, like I said, I didn't expect them to kill her off screen or anything, but they'll have to explain how this happened. And I'm sure they'll explain it. But also another thing to note is that she's here by herself. So how about the rest of the Hanji squad? I'm not seeing Moblit. I'm not seeing some of the others were mainly red shirts, but it should be noted that Moblit is not here, but Hanji is here by herself. But yeah, they have these Titan shifters. At this point, they've got the Beast Titan and they've got the Armored Titan. So they have choices if that serum comes into play. And again, I do feel like it is going to come into play at some point. And that point being now, most likely, right? Because this felt like the aftermath or the conclusion to the battle. As Zeke is also, badly, he took substantial damage, so he's not going to be able to do anything, right? The only outlier or the only unpredictable piece in this puzzle is this Scout Titan. Again, it all depends on Zeke's next move, right? But until I see how it all plays out, at this point in time, they have the Armored Titan, the Colossal Titan, or the possibilities of taking either one of those and giving it to one of their own. Again, this episode really started establishing that the commander is not dead just yet. They didn't show a definitive on-screen death, not like Marlowe's and Armin's. So they're setting up that he could potentially take on one of these Titan shifting abilities. But then again, that is also a major move, right? Taking on a Titan shifter ability. That again, the whole possibility of being only able to hold it for a limited amount of time, my whole ticking time bomb plot device theory. Now, depending on who ends up getting or taking on the Titan shifting abilities at some point, and if it is the commander, if they do bring him back from the brink of death, it's a massive choice. It's a life-altering choice. Once again, a lot of those, it's been clear that at this point in time, there are a lot of life-altering choices in play. So that's a big move. And, in that sense, even Sasha, could she be a candidate? Because it appeared that she took some damage, right? I think she was out. She was knocked out, and there's blood all over her face, and Connie had to rescue her. the female Colossal Titan, perhaps. I don't know, maybe. But again, the show has established that, you know, the commander still might be out there, and there still might be a tiny chance that they could save him. I think that's about it for the episode. There's just one thing to mention. I need to mention Marlowe. It was actually really sad to see him go out like that. But, you know, in that sense, it was also a reminder that there are others out here fighting for the same cause, right? But they just don't happen to be part of this 104th tight group, right? The Levi squad. But there are others that have given up their lives, that are putting their lives at risk for the same cause. And Marlowe was one of them, right? He was on the front lines on a death charge, right? He is also a hero. Anyone who was on that charge, who was part of that charge, any of the new recruits, all of them are heroes, right? The title of the episode, it doesn't just apply to Armin, right? Armin is a hero, eternal hero. The commander, a hero. Everyone on that, you know, death charge, a hero. All of them are heroes, man. Even if they're, you know, third tier characters, or if they're just, you know, side characters, Marlowe is a hero, and he died a hero's death. Again, you know, he was established so early on. He's been around for so long. Even though, you know, the screen time wasn't the same, he was still established early on in season, in the series. Not in season 1, but early on in the series. I think it was like near the conclusion of season 1. Annie and Jean noticed that he has the same type of demeanor and determination as Eren, right? He reminded them of Eren, and he had notions of, you know, changing this corrupt system. And he was a frustrated figure, right? He wanted change. He wanted to make change. He wanted to fight for the cause. Then he made it to the Scouts, right? He was inspired by the Scouts. He wanted to help them be part of that cause. And then here he is on the front lines, dying for that cause. A heroic death, you know? So rest easy to Marlowe. Much respect. And, you know, even in that final moment, that, you know, just incredibly horrible, you know, moment right at the end, as the Beast Titan is ready to launch more debris, more projectiles at them. I thought it was so beautiful that his final moment was of Hitch, right? Clearly he had feelings for her, and at his final moments he thought of her, right? His mind goes there. So I felt like that was such a beautiful ending for that character. And also, you know, there was that moment as Armin is explaining his plan to Eren. Remember, he stabs him. And then they show us the people back home, right? The people on standby, and people that are, you know, just hoping to get some good news. They showed me Rico again. They showed me Historia. They showed me Zachary and his, you know, his people, I guess. Others in charge. But, you know, I thought that was a great moment as well. There are others that are in this, you know. It's not just about the 104th and the Levi squad. Yes, those are the heroes, or those are the main focus of the series, but there are other people that matter, right? And these choices matter to other people. So yeah, it's a goodbye. It's a goodbye to Marlowe, and it's a goodbye to an incredible character, Armin. That was tough, man. Like I said, that was a tough thing to take. I'll never forget this character. And his absence is going to be noted for the rest of the series, again, by me, by characters of the show, and especially Eren. I feel like his absence, his death is going to change Eren. And I don't know if it's going to be for the better. You know, something like that could really mess you up. Losing a loved one, you know, he could just change his whole philosophy on things. He could become even more ruthless, right, on this crusade. Let's see, man. Let's see how it all plays out. So I enjoyed that quite a bit. If you enjoyed it, consider dropping a like, consider leaving some comments. Let me know what you guys thought of this incredible episode, and what you thought about my reaction to it and my discussion to it. Consider subscribing to the channel. There is a schedule and structure in place now, so Shingeki is going to have its own day, so you'll know exactly the moment it goes up. So consider subscribing to the channel, supporting the channel. And if you're interested in full length to this episode or early access to the next episode right now, consider checking out the Patreon page. Check out the different listings there. Again, I mentioned Death Note earlier. There is other content on my channel, but if you're only into anime stuff, maybe check out Death Note. But yeah, check out the Patreon page. Maybe something catches your eye, and in doing so, you'll be supporting the channel. Check out the pinned comment. It has links to my Patreon page and my social media. And if there's any updates, I usually update the pinned comment. It's right at the top of the comment section. Right then, that's about it for this incredible episode. 2 back-to-back incredible episodes, and the next one promises to be crucial as well. There's a lot of big moments that need to happen, a lot of big choices that need to be made. And the fallout of all of this, the aftermath of all of this is going to be quite fascinating. So I'm excited about that. So thanks for checking that out. I hope to see you soon, and I'm excited for the next episode. So excited. Take it easy.